Hey guys, I am going to cover in depth about what Taijutsu is, but I also wanted to cover in depth abilities like the Hyuga's ability to disrupt the user's tenketsu when using the gentle fist, and Shira's breathing technique, the 7 heavenly breaths. These are the only 2 examples I chose to add to this intro, so stay tuned to the end of the video for more Taijutsu related abilities. First, we're going to talk about what is Taijutsu. Taijutsu isn't just a fight technique in the world of Naruto, but any and all technique of fighting. All people are innately born with this ability, shinobi or not. The amount of strength you possess in Taijutsu can be strengthened through training and age, although sometimes being born with or activating an inherited dojutsu or ocular ability can raise your speed and strength without any use of training. A lot of Taijutsu prodigies have chosen this path to master Taijutsu, and they have little to no skill at mystical techniques, what we call ninjutsu. Being a ninja and being without the ability to use ninjutsu is a rarity, but it does happen, and you see this as one of the Taijutsu specialists that we see in Naruto with some of the most screen time is Rock Lee, and Lee has been born without ninjutsu entirely. Not only is this a rarity among shinobi, but people see this as imperfection. In fact, he kind of grew up ostracized when he first joined the Ninja Academy, as no one took him seriously as a ninja. Shunning someone solely based on their skill in ninjutsu is not uncommon. The 4th Hokage in the village hidden in the sand unauthorized anybody who couldn't use ninjutsu from joining the Ninja Academy. Shira, also a Taijutsu specialist, was found only after the 4th Kazekage died and Gaara became Kage. This kid was unarguably the best Taijutsu user in Naruto's time, and here's why. We're gonna go a little bit into the 8 gates territory here. The 8 gates to a Tai specialist is as perfect Susanoo is to an Uchiha. Basically, what the 8 gates is more specifically opening blocked chakra points. These chakra points are closed for your own safety, as unlocking these points do incredible things. Like, for example, some of the things that it does is it removes the limit on the strength of the signals that your brain sends to your muscular system, and it raises your body temperature enough to give you a sweat cloak. And that's not even breaking the surface. Like, if you've seen the 8 gates, you'd agree that this is probably one of the most OP things that they ever put into the... So at 13, Rock Lee was able to open 5 of the 8 inner gates, but that was with the help of Gai Sensei. Yes, he did learn this ability before his early teens, but he did have a Taijutsu god teach him, so... How does this tie into Shira being better when he can't even open the first inner gate? I'm not trying to go into any depth about Shira's life story, but I just really want to get through to the potential that I think that this guy has here. He had no friends, he had no sensei. When Gaara found Shira, it was because a 4-story boulder that helped protect the village from rock slides was destroyed. To give you a little perspective of what position this guy's been in his whole life, when Gaara asked him why he did it, Shira responded that he didn't mean to, and it was his only sparring partner. Shira had nowhere near the amount of resources as Lee did, and he'd still crush him. I mean, this isn't just an empty claim that I'm putting out there. There's a lot of support to this. But you have to keep in mind that Shira made everything up himself. Everything, all his techniques, all his fighting styles, it's just been made up by himself through sheer effort alone. Shira does have a mode similar to the 8 gates. He calls it the 7 heavenly breaths. There's 3 stages to this mode. Each state just pretty much multiplies the effect, and when you get to the final stage, his lung capacity can hold 4-fold the amount of air that it should, and improves the muscle strength enough to take Lee on when he has his 5th gate mode unlocked. On top of that, he can invisibly cloak himself by molding chakra into a formation that makes his moves silent. This isn't for stealth purposes. When in combat, hearing an enemy's arm swoosh through the air also boosts your reaction time. This was actually part of the dialogue when his cloak is featured. Lee is getting his ass handed to him, and Neji can actually see the cloak. To be able to passively cloak yourself in your own chakra would be extremely hard to do, even for a ninjutsu user. This guy can't even use ninjutsu. And if you're telling yourself, well, Lee can just go 8th gate and go end it, Well, you're wrong. Lee cannot open any of his gates. Shira taught himself tenketsu blocking strikes to a level of a gentle fist user. Meaning if Lee did go into the gates mode, Shira can just re-block the unlocked chakra points. The only way Lee would ever have a chance of winning is if Shira didn't want to shut down Lee's chakra network. This guy was able to block his chakra network from Neji's 64 palms. Neji, the Hyuga legend. So I'm not kidding when I tell you that this guy is one of the best taijutsu users of Naruto's time. I also wanted to mention that Shira is non-canonical, meaning he was not written down into the manga. He was only present in the anime. So for those of you who say, oh, the anime don't count, there you go. Oh, also, there are the Hyuga clan. They're good at taijutsu with really only the Gentle Fist. That's all they're really good for. I really think that's going to do it for this episode of Taijutsu and its users. By the way, since I am still going on the topic of Taijutsu, I am planning on doing the 8 gates explained. I do not know when I'm going to finish. It will probably be tomorrow or the next day, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks for staying all that way to the end. Comment if you have a question. Why did I add what I did? Didn't add what I didn't? Just want to tell me what you want to see in the future video. Like the video if you liked it, and hit subscribe to get the latest of my Naruto content.